like oddly high definition, and I'm like in darkness. I should really buy a lamp.
Oh, the high def.
At least we don't have like choppy Keith today.
I mean, it's kind of fun. It adds like a little stop motion video inside Damage Chat.
It's truly quality. Hello, everybody. If you are just joining us, welcome to Damage Check. As always, we're going to wait about before we get started. I'm going to say we're going to start at 7:35, so about 4 minutes into the video. So for those of you who are watching this post live, go ahead and skip to the 4-minute mark. That's probably around the time we're going to start.
It's called post-production, Jose. Not that there was a lot of production to begin with, but just letting you know.
Post-production. I'm trying to fix my light. Yeah, speaking of low production.
Ryan's over there with just like
super chats. We need to buy lights.
We literally had like one. We had one super chat.
We've had two. Don't hate.
Did we really? Oh yeah, because I forgot about the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I know I'm right.
It'll do.
You're right. Whereas Braxton is at work today, as is, and Keith is upgrading his computer.
I like it, Ryan.
Thank you, friend.
You look very like LA Noir style.
Oh,
you know, dark shadow.
You're gonna go solve some crimes. You gonna go
Oh yes.
The Zatchbo card game, please. Not in this chat.
Hello.
There was a book. Like you put your cards in books and you turn pages.
It's so weird, but actually pretty cool.
It was weird. It was very weird.
Pulling up the spoilers. Spoilers.
Oh yay!
Yeah, you're gonna want to go down and pull those up.
Not here.
I mean, in all fairness, are there spoilers worth talking about? Because I have been unimpressed this week.
There's not like anything. It's all like commons and like.
I'd rather spend our JoJo threads.
I would rather. Oh, wait, are there? I guess. All right, fine.
Yes, so that's pretty much where we left off.
Bermudas for the umpteenth time.
Wrap it up.
Oh, I bet you can hear that in the mic.
What, the click? Yeah, you can hear the click in the mic.
Click. Yeah.
All right.
Well.
Okay. We're going to wait here a second.
So one of you guys should pop it on Facebook, because I really don't want to.
Ryan Griffin, my computer is moving at a snail's pace.
Oh, Nate,
I'll
give me
do
a
it.
link.
Never mind.
Thank you.
It is not worth the whining. Lord.
Get you anything in life, except hired in New York. They don't like whining up there.
You guys just need to build monster PCs like I did, and this wouldn't be an issue. Okay? Okay.
You are not wrong, my friend.
I will say that RGB, like everything, like that build we saw was gorgeous.
He only used the motherboard and video cards because they're from ASUS. There are better RGB motherboards. They just don't have ASUS Aura Sync, which sucks.
Yeah, but the Aura Sync looks so nice. No, that case looks, the Infinity case, that case looked awesome.
Oh, it's so overrated though. It has like the crappiest cooling system. It cannot have front fans because the front is solid. It's
awful. But it looked infinite. It was infinite RGB.
Whoop-de-doo. I've got lots of RGB and glass. My case, actually my motherboard often thinks I'm running this in like an open setup because there's so much airflow. Fun fact. I have a lot of airflow.
Your temps don't get high either. So, okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to Damage Check Live episode, I think 90-something maybe.
I think it's a little high.
We are glad that you are here to watch us talk about Vanguard spoilers, topics, everything and the like. Today I am joined with the great Doombringer Griffin himself.
When am I not here?
Occasionally.
I suppose. I'm here more than you are. Hello?
That's not true. I've been in more damage checks than you have, guaranteed.
Oh, okay. Let me just pull up damage check number 1 and then count from there.
I was about to say, like, I can count on maybe 2 hands the amount of damage checks I've missed. It's probably 5 or less.
I have been involved with the publication of more damage checks than anyone, so I don't want to hear your mouth, Jose.
Yeah, you have a nice
okay?
Saying what else?
They're like 2 damage checks I have not had my hands on, so you lose.
All right. So, and then speaking of, I'm joined by the editor, the Phantom Nate himself. This is episode damage check 91, by the way. Same year.
91. Hello? 91. Are you sure?
Spartan says, and he's been here for literally almost every damage check.
Yeah, I'm going with Spartan.
So
I don't know though. We do have a couple of locked.
The lost episodes.
We don't talk about those.
So thanks for joining us today. There's not too much in the world of spoilers. So we're going to go ahead and knock those out as always at the beginning. Ryan, go ahead and hit us with anything that might be quality.
Yeah, I know you're going to miss my beautiful spoiler voice. So we're just going to wrap up Bermuda real quick, June 29th. Chocho headliner Lapria, who cares? Stride, auto, Vanguard circle, counterblast 1, and choose a face-down card from your G-zone with the same card name as this unit and turn it face-up. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 2 of your rearguards for each face-up in your G-zone and put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. Draw the same number of cards as the number of cards put into your deck. If you have a heart card with Chocho and its card name, draw a card. Then if you draw 4 or more cards in total, choose up to 5 cards from your hand and call them a separate rearguard circle. Woo! Did you have fun reading that? Because I know I did.
That's a lot of stuff. I don't know how I feel about this. There's a lot of words on this card, but does it really do anything?
It technically lets you play all of the things again. The only problem is it's not like Super Bermuda where you can just like bounce them up and play them again and then get all their effects off. Because all of your regards at the start go to the bottom of your deck, so it's kind of worse. I feel like Andrew talked to us about this card and said, meh.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what he said. He said this card is meh. It might see play in Chochos, I think is what he said. But aside from that, like,
you're not going to play anything. You're not going to play anything else. It's heart locked.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I think he meant to say that as in like even in Chochos, it might be a 1. Like it's like even in the deck it would belong in. You still wouldn't use that many of it.
All right, and then we got the G Guardian with her for all you Glasses fans out there. G Guardian, auto, Soul Blast 1, and choose one of your other rearguards with Chocho and its card name and put it on the bottom of your deck. When this unit is placed on guard circle, you can pay the cost. If you do, draw a card, and this unit gets shield plus 5k until end of turn. Not too bad. Unfortunately, rearguards to the bottom of your deck for some reason. I don't think your rearguards are that strong.
I think it's
but like, what does it do? It just doesn't deck out, I guess. That's fine.
Maybe, right. I suppose. I mean, because you're drawing cards, so you're putting things in the bottom. You keep the train going.
The train goes on forever. All right, so not really spoilers, more like spoiler news, because we got the names of a lot of the upcoming RRR and GR cards as they are getting sleeves. So for the Dragon Emperor himself, not Dote for some reason, Luard, his new Stride boss will be Awakening Dragon Luard. Looks dank as all hell. The OTT will be Goddess of Stillwater. Yeah, Ichishima. For OTT, God only knows what she could possibly do to save that clan. Conquering Supreme Dragon, Dragonic Vanquisher, V-Buster. Art looks pretty good. Not my favorite. I think I like Voltage or VMAX better still. But, I mean, more Narukami keeps happy. Evil Eye Emperor Shiranui Mukuro. So another Shiranui card. Ooh, spicy. And probably a Dominator, since Afterimage is kind of gone. Although if it did both, that would be interesting. But the Evil Eye is kind of the basis of domination. Super double spicy, double mechanic. All right. But still, more Shiranui support for domination. Fantastic. Chrono Dragon Gear next. I think this is the card that I'm looking most forward to in the upcoming set. One, the art looks like it's just Gear Groovy plus Ultra. And what could this card possibly do that Gear Groovy already hasn't done for this clan? What busted thing is Gear Groovy gonna get to do now? And here's the thing. It's now my thoughts on this, and I was actually talking with one of our fans, Austin, about this, is should this card overshadow Gear Groovy? Probably not. It should work with it. So what if it's on attack, time leap everything? Just do it. Just be like, Counterblast 2, time leap everything. Have yourself a good time, and then do that with Gear Groovy a turn later. So
Please no.
Probably
not like this.
Not like this indeed. We'll probably round out this set. And then we have Midsummer Flower Princess Rita for Neonectar to round things out. No royals this time around, are there?
I'm okay with this.
What
I'm
an
okay with
oddity.
this. This is fine. This is fine. I will say this though: if the Shiranui Stride has both After Image and Dominate, I want every one of our fans to forever call that deck the Pick 2 for 5. It'll be the Pick 2 for 5 deck.
You're not gonna make pick 2.
We'll call it the Pick 2.
We are
You
so
get them both
getting
for
hit
$5.
with the copyrights. Oh, good God.
Nate, we trust in you and your pre-law skills.
We can't afford the lawyers to combat McDonald's.
Can I
God.
get it? They don't. McDonald's doesn't watch this stream. Relax.
Oh, they watch everything.
An old lady won a lawsuit over hot coffee. We'll be fine.
Barely.
Okay,
Barely.
anyone watching this in the future, if the ad you just saw before the video was McDonald's, let me know in the comments below, please. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
The super accurate comment sourcing, or the super accurate advertising sourcing. I love that stuff. When you get like the super
unrelated. I'm
ads.
getting it related but unrelated to Vanguard. I keep getting all these Spanish beer commercials on all my YouTube videos, and I'm not appreciative for it.
That is
It's
stereotyping YouTube.
It's Spanish. There's Spanish ads for American beer, so it like definitely does. I'm like, why? Just
Has Jorge been using your computer again?
so
Funny caveat. Funny side note. Once I was reading a Modest Proposal, and an ad for Babies R Us came up on the side. And if you know what that is, any of you lit heads or anyone who took a college English class at all know what a Modest Proposal is. And I'm like, you gotta have an ad for Babies R Us next to that thing.
I took college lit and I
back
don't know
to
what it is.
You've never read a Modest Proposal? Nate, this is right up your alley.
Yo,
Oh my God.
bro, I took writing and the law. I was stupid. I didn't take regular English, okay?
Can't believe you've never read Jonathan Swift. What are you doing?
back to Luard.
All right, well, we're still in the spoilers. We literally just have commons, but I will read them anyway because literally all we have for you guys.
We need to take up time.
Yeah, so, speaking of which, there's one picture that's not on here, and it is apparently Descendants getting some sort of support. It is rumored to be Legion. Please no, that would be awful. We don't need an X for for the Descendant. Just give me another Stride, please.
I don't know. I want it to be a Legion that also has an on-stride skill with Descendant in name. That's cool.
So they make pick 2.
Yeah.
Give me
But I'm not calling it that.
That could be. We'll call it the McDouble. We'll call it the McDouble.
Only $1.29, just like Zillion.
I'm gonna name every deck after McDonald's sandwiches. All of them.
Until Nate has a heart attack. All right, so for actual spoilers, it's Commons Week at Bushi Road. Shutdown Eradicator Doku Kakuji. Oh wow, I actually screwed up a Japanese name. Doku Kakuji. It is a common. It's very common. Grade 2. Auto Regard Circle. When this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Eradicator in its card name, this unit gets power plus 2k until the end of that battle. Woohoo! Auto Regard Circle. Counterblast 1. At the end of the battle, if your grade 3 or greater unit with Eradicator in its card name attacked, if the attack did not hit, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your Vanguards. That unit and this unit get power plus 5k until end of turn. That's actually not bad for this. Give Descend an extra stage and make this guy into a 16. That's not bad for CB1. Of course, be better if it didn't cost that, but you kind of need all your resources on deck to play Descendant anyway.
So I like that Ryan just told us what Bushy's new rarity is. You have your common, and below that you now have your very common. So
common.
Be on the lookout for that.
Very common. You know the cards. Well, this next one's an OTT card, so starting off the spoilers early. Man just looks straight out of Psychopath. That's the only reason this card is cool. His name is Elite Heath, still keeping this naming scheme for some reason. He's a grade 2, auto rearguard circle, very common. Generation Break 1, retire this unit. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw 2 cards, and if the number of cards in your hand is 6 or more, countercharge 1, soul charge 1. So you kill him, you draw 2 cards, and then you maybe get to countercharge 1, soul charge 1.
You know
Neat.
what sucks? That is going to be like a 16k line. It doesn't have power on it. Good luck getting that to hit. Thank you very much.
10k.
I mean,
All right, and actually something spicy for Luard. No, we're not talking about that anymore. Moving on.
Okay. Well,
let's talk about Differbow.
Oh!
Auto Forerunner. It is a really cool art, by the way. Auto Generation Break 1, Ritual 3. Put this unit into your soul. When this unit is retired from rearguard circle for the effect or cost of your card with the ritual ability, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top card of your deck, call it to rearguard circle, or put it into your drop zone. Ooh. Neat.
That's nice.
It's pretty neat.
okay.
I mean, the starter for Luard is kind of up in the air as it is. Like, some people play Nisa, some people play... Oh, God, I think some people still play David for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of up in the air what you want to run. And this guy's another option, so it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Braxton seemed to be kind of excited about it.
I mean, I like him. He goes to your soul. He rewards you for doing what you're doing already. And, yeah. I mean, I can't think of a reason off the top of my head why you would actually call something... Why you would take the top card and put it into the drop zone versus the field. But maybe there are some really weird situations that I'm not thinking of that could be really exciting.
Well, let's talk about the one last actual spoiler. We're going to Efficient Carp, the Oracle Think Tank stand.
It's efficient, man.
Auto rearguard circle.
It's efficient.
Efficient.
It's efficient.
Auto rearguard circle. Put this Oracle. Put this unit into your soul. At the end of your turn, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top card from your deck, put it on top or bottom of your deck, and draw a card.
That actually is an efficient
Alright.
card. That's an efficient
That's
card.
pretty efficient. I just wish he went back to your deck too. That
I
would
wish
be.
he had a-
That would be. That's
wish
what
he was
OTT
a yellow
needs.
symbol
OTT
instead
needs
of a
our
blue.
water, but better. Except our water's still better, but you know.
Nope. Splash failed. Splash failed. That's all I have to say about this
Now,
card.
granted, if you somehow cycle this guy back into your deck, there might be some sort of combo that we just haven't seen yet because the cards aren't out. But really, abusing stand triggers is how decks that really needed support really badly to become better just started working. I mean, think about Gears pre-GBTO5. Did people play that deck? No! No, they did not. They didn't play that deck. It was Aquaforce and Royals and Kagero. And now, we're back. We're back with Gear Chronicle. It's Urwater Malum time, and suddenly that deck was amazing. So, a broken stand trigger is just what OTT needs if they can abuse it, as Angels did with Reference.
Hey, it is important to remember that there have been more stands restricted in the game than ever crits.
That's because crits never do anything. What is the best crit effect that you know? Other than Flogel. Not Flogel.
Flogel.
Other than Flogel. I'm like, I made a mistake.
Yo, Red Lightning. I still love my Red Lightning.
Lightning!
Crits don't do anything. They give all the good abilities to stands. There's maybe like one crit.
Except for Flogel.
Actually, except Flogel because Royals.
Because screw everyone.
Pretty much, yeah. They couldn't just make a new Flogel stand now. He's got to be on a crit. 2 crits. He's on 2 crits,
Oh, yeah.
by the way.
Belial.
Oh, no. Yep, you're right. Flogel and Belial. Alright. But still, neither of those cards is restricted, and all of the stands are. So
Perhaps they should be. Just a thought.
you're not wrong.
So,
And then we got a new Descendant picture and new Chronofang picture.
Oh,
On like
yeah.
a weird magazine thing. New Chronofang. I don't know why,
Yep.
but yes.
we have news.
who's gonna play it?
We have news this week. I'm excited
Eleven.
about
Bring
that.
the news. Bring the news. Bring the news. Bring on
Andrew
the news.
was right. We got the errata thingy, mabobber.
Da-da-da. It's official.
Angie?
Yeah. Because Andrew, I was totally disagreeing with Andrew about this. For the Bermuda Stride, what's his face? What's her face?
Angie.
Yeah. I disagreed with him because his logic was that Bushy doesn't want you running 2 because they don't want you to have to persona flip it. I was like, well, yeah, that's great for the deck. Bushy probably wants you running 2 because you're buying more product.
True.
But he ended up being right. No Persona flip.
And also, I think they refuted the resist thing. You can't select dudes with resist.
Yeah.
So it works on lock, not on resist, and it's not Persona flip. All the drama with Ainge is over. Let it be over. Let it die.
Ainge Gate 2017. We've moved past it. It's over.
All right.
That
is it.
There was something else in the news. It's slipped my mind now.
Bushiroad finally updated the English website with the 3 7Cs finish in London or whatever it was in the UK.
Oh, woo.
It's like, how long ago was this again?
I would really love to see how much traffic the Bushiroad English site actually gets. I'm just curious. Like, do people use it anymore? Like, other than deck lists? Does everyone check the English card of the day, guys? I think you should.
It'll probably be from set 9.
Like English card of the day. It's always a bad card.
It's always the point? I know.
Occasionally, it's like occasionally, but I mean, a lot of times it's like, man.
Oh yes, Bravey Decker in the chat. It was Cardiff, June 10th. So it's a little old, but I mean, 7C is still strong for everywhere but America. Everywhere but America.
That's because we can go into a big topic about like how players play overseas versus how players play here. Like, and I mean by deck choice, not by
bad in the best way. That's how I'll describe American Vanguard players. We love what we love and buy it, and we're good with it, but it's not objectively the best.
There are too many rogue decks in the US. I don't want to say in the US, but too many rogue decks at a tournament that could stop a 7Cs. 7Cs just don't make it up to the high tables where it could literally just run the gambit. But it's also important to memorize that in the highest competitive tournaments, the deck has taken it. 7Cs is definitely worth note.
But that's beside the point.
Let's talk topic today. So topic today is, of course, our thoughts about not our thoughts because it's not out yet, but our expectations, our hopes, our desires, everything, given that what we know, which is very little, of set 12, like what going into what we expect. And furthermore, Ryan brought this up to me and to the rest of the team earlier, is that this is the season finale set, and we can talk about what we've come to expect from season finale sets, because this is now the set for the season finale of season 4, which is surprising because before, in the old days of Vanguard, it was, at least for the first 3 seasons, it was 5 sets per. But then it got more complex because we got extra boosters and we got clan boosters and we got like Omega boosters and character boosters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
already the season finale. Turn up.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, this season seemed to go by pretty fast. Maybe it was just because I wasn't watching it, so I don't know.
That tends to happen. I was like, well, I mean, it's also been a shorter season in main sets. We've only had from set 9 to set 12 in the G era, whereas, back in the old days, it went from set 10 to set 15. I mean, that was a whole 6 sets of
but we also
in season 3.
Also, Ryan, like the Revival Collection, I think the Revival Collection, I mean, you got to consider the Bermuda set as well, the Grand Blue set, the 2 clan boosters, like
3 clan boosters.
Boosters.
I mean, it's been a shorter season. Plus, the fact that Bushiroad's release schedule has changed so much since then.
Yeah, like it's not. It's 3 main sets, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 main sets, and then like 5 other sets. 5 or some odd 5 other sets. So it's been a lot of product, surprisingly, when you think about it.
But the real point of this discussion is to watch Jose lag through the stream as he catches up with it. So the real point of this discussion is, what should a season-ending set look like? Because we've seen Bushiroad attempt this several times now. We had set 5, we had set 9, we had set 15. We had set, oh goodness, I don't even know what the first season of G was. But I think it might have been set 4.
Stage.
Yeah, it was next stage. So that's set 4. So then we had set 4, and then we had it was the gear clan booster, all gears all the time. And now we have set 12 again. So really, what do these sets look like? What new concepts do they bring to the game? And how do we think set 12 is going to meet or break open these expectations? As of course, power creep is a pretty standard part of making new cards. So just a quick history on what each new set tried to do. So set 5 being the first one introduced cross rides to the game. It was the first one with cross rides and the most consistent restander. Well, I believe we had a restander before that. I'm pretty sure Stern. Yeah, Stern is a restander in set 4.
Stern.
The original set 4. But Dote did a lot better. And then we also had MLB, which was pretty unprecedented in power level. So set 5 was just an absolute powerhouse set that busted open all previous decks except for Tsukuyomi for some reason, and really started to dominate things all the way through the second season. So that's what a season-ending set, the first one, looked like. It was huge, it was massively powerful, and it stayed on pretty much forever that you can still play Dote and MLB as cards today. That's how good those cards were, and they still are that good just because of the set. Just because of how good they were and how supported their specific clans have been, you can still run them viably. Those are great cards.
Also,
set 9, disappointing.
5 introduced Persona Blast as a mechanic.
God, I can't even remember that was a thing because we haven't done that in so long. When the last time we Persona Blast
was a mechanic introduced in, or either set 4 or set 5 introduced. I forget if Stern has the Persona Blast, but I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either.
It does not.
Yeah.
Yep. So we had the 2 Persona Blasters.
And those were also the only. Well, that one and the Neo Nectar and the Shadow one were the only 3 Persona Blasts, pretty much in the game until later.
And so set 9 was just kind of overall disappointing. It didn't really provide any additional power to the game. Azel Cross Ride was not good. Vermilion the Blood was not great. And God, when did we have? Yeah, we had Glory Maelstrom then too. Also not great. Really, set 9 didn't do anything for the game in general. It was just kind of, it was learning from the mistakes of set 5, but also turning it back too much. The game hadn't quite changed enough to make up for how good Dote and MLB were specifically. And so it really just kind of flopped and showed Bushi that turning back the power doesn't fix your problems. They couldn't rely on people just playing Narukami and Golds for the heck of it to really sell that set. And it just wasn't a good set in general. I mean, it had a bunch of cross rides in it, more cross rides, Limit Break 5, and it still couldn't beat the efficiency of previous decks. And so set 9 taught Bushi that, yeah, they should probably be kind of powerful one way or another. So then we move up to, well, I guess season...
Set 9, hold on. Ryan, you gotta let the rest of us talk.
No, it's my show. I'm the captain now. Didn't you watch last week's damage check?
Me and Nate get a word in edgewise here. So, set 9 also introduced Limit Break 5, which you didn't mention. Also, Illuminal Dragon was in Limit Break. Was actually the best probably card in meta it existed in. It actually went on to the next into set 10 and got saw play, whereas like neither did with Ethics Buster. So Illuminal Dragon was in that set.
True.
It introduced Limit Break 5, which has seen but is also garbage. I will not acknowledge as well. Also, but it tried to bring back it brought back Cross Ride with the new mechanic, but everyone just Dote. Everyone just rather play Dote or MLB.
Always rather play Dote.
All right, say about that set. So set 13 or set 15.
Well, set 13 almost felt like the season ender, but it really was set 15. And set 15 introduced to us the first alternate win con. Kind of difficult as it was at the time, was still rather dangerous. And but it was the first alternate win con. Something that's stayed relevant to this day, as it is, I'm pretty sure, still the only alternate win con in the game to exist on a card. And people are still playing that thing. People are still topping with Glendios in some way, shape, or form just because it has an alternate win con, another way to win the game, another way to strategize and build your deck.
The deleter thingy-mabobby.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Deleter has the alternate win con.
Same.
Not as good.
No.
Not nearly as good. So, just another thing that, I mean, set 13 through 15 were all about supporting everything else right before the end. And so we kind of saw Bushi adopt that strategy is, oh, we got to play catch up and make sure everybody's got a nice new unit to end the season, as they've pretty much done since then, hopefully, except for like one season where some people got nothing. But the first alternate win con was such a huge splash. And then, of course, we had Legion, which was weird in English, and while important...
Skip.
I don't know, Jose, yeah, take it away, Jose. If you think there was any value in, like, not like the Legion sets themselves, but like really what the last one brought to the table. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anything in particular.
Time out. I just think set team is probably the best.
Okay.
I am real quick. I think it was the best season-ending set ever. I think that set was pure quality. You had Glendios, you got Drag Ruler for Avengers, you got Monarch Alfred, you got the Overlord Break Ride, you got Rebirth, you got Venus Lucier, which wasn't great, but it was great for Lucier fans, so whatever. You also got like Swordbreaker and Mana and Judge Bow, which were really long-lasting cards. Kagero got Burnout, which was a really long-lasting card. So I think set 10, in my opinion, was the best season-ending set ever. Ever. But moving on.
Yeah, set 15 was value. I don't know if Ryan said it was good or bad, but set 15, honestly, to me, beats set 5. Set 15 had like the Rebirth.
Oh, in terms of value, in terms of like the cards overall, what was in set 15, yeah, I can definitely agree to that. Set 5 has maybe 10 cards that are worth their salt. The rest are utter garbage.
Yeah, I just have fond memories of 15. Very fond.
Yeah, 15. A good set. 15. Granted, like at the time, I didn't think it was a good set, but looking back on it, like, man, there was just nothing but bangers in that set. When did Karma Reverse come out?
I think that was 14, actually.
I think that was 14.
Blue Storm Karma Dragon? Maelstrom?
Yeah.
That was 15.
That was 15?
It was.
Boom!
Got up right in front of my face.
All right, well, the man spoke the words. Yeah, because the Maelstrom Breaker was also in there.
It just looked bad at the time because you were playing CBD, so, who wants to play Glendios when I can just kill you and draw from it? And I was playing Raging Form, so Dragular wasn't as good, but it was still a fun card. It was still a damage-inducing card, which was really cool and really unique, and yeah.
What's his name that stunned the Vanguard was in 15?
Cyclomatooth?
Stunned the Vanguard.
Cyclomatooth.
Thank you. Set 17 was just a fun set to be in. It added a lot of things. Like Ryan said, it did add a lot of things there at the end for everyone else to really dip into, and added for a lot of interesting matchups there at the end of that season. Now, Legion was the shortest, and by far probably when it comes to season ending, because we're talking 2 seasons, and it was all shoved into 2 sets, including a Brawler's trial deck for some reason, was shoved into a set. And then only like less than half the clans in the game got support by the time it was over. So, and it really affected
probably the worst season for support.
It really ruined everybody else for a very, like, it really tipped the scales of in terms of Vanguard for a very long time because all the clans that everyone loves, they're gonna get legions. Everyone else, you're gonna get these promo legions that are hot garbage.
Except Chatnor.
Have fun.
Or except Fox. That was it.
Except for Fox. But that deck didn't really see its rise until like we had Stride. Like that card really didn't see its value until later. Like in Legion, though used, that deck was not powerful as compared to like Thingsaver or Abyss or Regale or Regale.
Not Regale. We're not there yet.
Regalia? Regalias?
Regalia.
Like Genesis?
Regalia.
Like Yggdrasil?
Regalias. Yeah, Yggdrasil. Regalias.
Kagero.
You had
But
the Great
goes on.
kicking. I mean, Kagero really saw. Basically, set 17 was the final set of Legion, but it was a real hodgepodge of stuff, and it all was just concentrated into like a few clans. And there's nothing really that we talk about today. Those sets. There's nothing that really comes to note. Maybe the Great, if you want to talk about him. Maybe Sinbuster, if you want to talk about him.
No.
Photon really sticks out if you want to talk. Photon is probably a card. Like some of the Link Joker stuff is worth note.
I mean, yeah, that was
as much as
free
I like
lock. It was free locking. That's insane.
But
technically that was in a trial deck, and it was a Legion rare in the set. It was only a card in the trial deck. So like,
yeah, Legion just did not age well at all. Not 3 seasons into G.
No, Bluish Flames were in 17. They were of note. They kind of upended the Gold Paladin. Just saying.
Wait, are we sure they were set there in 17 and not 16?
Yeah, it's probably looking at it.
100%. I am looking at it now. I am cheating.
Wait, are you sure you're looking at version E?
I assume so. I clicked on the English next set. Unless the wiki lied to me. It would not surprise me if the wiki lied to me.
He's different than the Japanese, and they definitely mix things up, so...
That was fun. By fun, I mean excruciating.
Moving on.
It's not a good time.
If this was E or not.
So then we had Stride, and the clans that were already good because of Legion just got better, and everyone else remained left behind. And that was kind of the breaking point for a lot of clans, which are just now recovering and being able to be played after all this time, now that more clans have become popular, more clans had time to get support since G. But at the very beginning, I mean, you couldn't Stride other than Atmos and Blizza if you weren't playing Kagero Royals, OTT, the last time it was good, early G.
You were right.
Sort of
version E did not have golds.
Belgium.
Oh.
16 had gold.
Version E did bring us something, and that was the precedent of Dr. O making incredibly stupid rulings that are somehow binding on the game.
Cat Butler is not relevant to this discussion. No.
So there we go.
Stop it.
That is the legacy of BT17.
Woohoo.
Great legacy.
So early G was just kind of a, if I remember the meta correctly, it was mostly kind of a hodgepodge of some stuff was powerful and some stuff was not. You had Narami that was good. I think towards the very end of that season, Vanguard was just starting to be played because everyone figured out at the first Fighters Collection that Regularly was a threat. Aqua Force was amazing at that specific moment in time. And, I mean, cards like Lambros just couldn't be beat. I mean, if you were playing Royals or Aqua Force or Narukami and a choice few other decks, you were doing pretty well. But going up to set 4 where we just started to have next stage, things, I wouldn't call that, I barely remember that as a season-ending set. There isn't anything in there that I specifically remember going, oh, that's super good. I mean, was what Gear Chronicles started to need. Mm-hmm. But even then, it wasn't fantastic until the next set, the next season.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Ryan on this one. I mean, Aura Guys are doomed. Solid's value.
That's not because Doomed is a good card, though.
I will agree with that. Really, the only highlight to bring up here is Ariel Divine Knight Atmile was a very solid card in that set, and is still a very solid card today. And Chrono Dragon Next Stage obviously was a very solid card then, is a very solid card today. Those are the two hard-hitting cards from that set that are worth bringing up as terms of, like, those are the only two cards that, well, pretty much the reason I was like, oh, this is the season-ending set. like, oh, these are like the nice little like pick-me-ups for the rest of the boys.
But all they were really just evolutions for cards we already had. And while those cards were good, the way that Stride works, just kind of, you just put in the most powerful and most synergistic cards, strides that you can find and run them together. I mean, the thing is, Next Stage itself didn't seem like a season-ending card. Was it good? Absolutely. It still is good. Was Alt Mile a great card? Yes. But the thing is, I didn't ever get the feeling that that was a season-ending set. When I look back on it, I had to think about which set it was, and I guessed it was set 4, and I happened to be right.
Mhm.
You know, that's something that they just kind of skipped across, and they said, this isn't really a season ender. We're just gonna keep going. Here's the rest of season 3 now. You know.
Well, yeah. I think that's okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, mechanically, the only thing that stands out to me from set 4 was Orguys Are Doomed being the very first evolution stride, and kind of everything from that on. It was kind of like the signal that we would get evolutions from strides, whereas like the Outmile and the Next Stage were evolutions from the grade 3s. Doomed was a stride from a stride, which then paved the way to all the other evolutions.
And Claret Sword Lies Forgotten.
Yeah. And we got healing in Angel Feathers. That was exciting.
That is true.
Moving on.
Here's the thing. Here's the caveat I do want to make for all the fans out there, though. This is an important thing because I think that Ryan's a little biased. I'm a little biased. And to a certain point, so is Nate. This is all the point in which we stop watching the show as well. So, like, we don't have any vested interest in seeing these cards actually being played or anything of that, or the hype. Like, it's probably one of the reasons that I think Set 15 was such a good season ender is, one, did have a lot of amazing cards, but two, the episodes those cards were in were amazing.
It's not wrong.
Ren, Kai versus Aichi, Kai versus everyone there at the end was just ballerific. It was a really good overall, and I enjoyed watching it. And so I think that definitely imprints in my brain, like why I like that set so much. I will agree to a certain extent, though. I kind of disagree with I saw Next Stage. Like, yeah, but the problem is, like, to a stride format, evolutions no longer took the form of, like, riding over in a step we were used to. So, like, cross rides seemed definitive because it was like, this is the evolution, this is the same unit's name with an addition at the end kind of thing. Like, this is Dragonic Overlord, and this is Dragonic Overlord, the end. This is Dragonic Overlord, this is Dragonic Overlord, the reverse. This is the evolution. This is, like, it seems more final that way. Whereas, like, these evolutions were evolutions, but they were strides, and then, like, they went away at the end, so it was like, they come back, and then they go away, and then you're back with the same dude you were in for the whole time. The finality isn't there, as in, like, where cross rides and break rides and limit breaks and legions to a certain extent, like these, like there was a physical permanence to the progression. So like when you legioned or when you broke road or cross broke road or whatever have you, there was like a definitive change in the board. This is to say this is what it means to be final. Like this is the final progression of the season, kind of thing. Whereas like Stride, it was like, oh, here's an evolution of my dude. Okay, he goes away now. So it's a little like hard to. I can see why Ryan might feel that way. Yeah.
So set 4 gave us evolution strides in 2 different ways, since Claret Sword just doesn't count anymore. We also got the ones that are evolutions of the unit, which we then continued to see for a while. So that's really what set 4 brought us. But other than that, it didn't really give us any new mechanic. It was flavorful for Gear Chronicle, but it really just improved on things that were already there and didn't seem like, oh my god, now we can restand, now we Persona Blast. It didn't seem that way for us. But of course, so we've had a few sets now, a few season enders where we've kind of been in a slump. Set 15, really good set. Alternate win con introduced, bunch of different stuff, really value cards, great time to play the game. Legion slump, early G slump. So now we're kicking off set 5 to set 8, and then the Gear Clan booster. So the end of that season saw that the season primarily focused on clan pick-me-ups and then making Gear. How can we make Gear Chronicle great still? And boy, did the season ender show us a bunch of stuff. So yeah. So
what set was the season finale for set 2 or set
Gear
2
Clan
G?
booster? Gear Clan booster.
Okay, go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
So everyone, all eyes were on Demiurge. How is this man gonna beat Glendios? How are we gonna get another alternate win con for the alternate Gears deck, which was picking up some steam? And we saw Rebellion. That was fun. You know, we're seeing the Zodiac Time Beast. That's really cool. How is Demiurge gonna live up to Glendios' hype? How is he gonna become the new alternate win con that we can play towards? And what was he? A miserable little pile of garbage that's now worth $2 everywhere. This card was so disappointing and came in a chain of not terrible, but not great season-ending sets. And it wasn't... One of the main problems with this set was that it gave Gear Chronicle so much power in just one of the two decks it was supposed to be supporting and left everything else out. The season ender was the final battle between Chrono and God, what's the other guy's name? And I found it fairly forgettable. The man had a ridiculous setup cost for something that wasn't quite an alternate win con, but specifically was meant to end the game. They print a double R in the set, which was immediately the hard counter to that setup and mechanic. And considering they were already making Gears one of those powerful decks, you could bet that Demiurge was never going to see the light of day in reality. And then they also gave him Gear Groovy, which, granted, Gear Groovy is a fantastic card. That card is really cool. The fact that we can copy what other cards actually do and combine effects for ridiculous synergies, that's a season-ending card. I don't know why they didn't just make a main set about this, throw the other guy out the window, say, well, that's over. Hey, Luard Kid, you want to show up to a set early? And just called it a day. I mean, that was a bad season-ending set. One, because it didn't give anybody else anything, gave everything to Gears, gave everything to half of what Gears was supposed to be, and the boss card was bad. So here we go with set 12. So now it's been a new season. Everybody's received a pick-me-up. I believe most clans have been supported this season. And everything's at a pretty good state, at least in America. Granted, you know, meta notwithstanding, as anything can change at any given time, we're here with set 12. The Dragon Emperor has awoken in Shadow Paladins for some reason. They're not the Dragon Emperor. I got scammed again. Super scammed. We're back with an old favorite, Descendant. OTT is finally coming out of the woodwork, and all it needs is a few powerful cards to maybe make a mark and actually be played by its hardcore fans seriously. We've got a great clan setup, but really, what makes a season-ending set? So now that we reviewed each and every season-ending set so far, what traits did we like about them the most? And what do the cards need to do to kind of continuously one-up each other to continue being interesting? How do you make a set with Gear Groovy that is also set 15?
See, I'm gonna go first real quick.
Go for it.
To me, I kind of think the final set really should do something to kind of fix the problems. It is essentially the pinnacle of what the season's supposed to be. You know, it's the final boss fight. It's the ultimate units, you know, all that stuff. So you presume that, you know, in theory, maybe you want to fix some of the issues you've had with the season thus far. To me, this entire season has been a season of stagnation. If I wanted to define what has this season been, unforgettable and stagnant. What have we seen? We've seen Grand Blue, which was here last season, still top. We've seen Royals, who have been here for 2 years, still top. We had the introduction of Shadows. Whoop-de-doo. We have Gears, still here. Like, there were so few additions, I felt like, to the season, to the meta, how we're playing the game, that, you know, while I like G-Guards, they didn't change all that much. They didn't, you know, empower a bunch of clans that were traditionally bad. They just empowered Royals, and they empowered Gears, and Kagero briefly for a small moment, but not really. Yeah. So I honestly don't think this can be a good set in my eyes, because I don't think they can fix this problem of stagnation. I think they have built this massive wall of Gear Chronicle and Royal Paladins where they've just supported them so much that they can't bring them down, and there's nothing this last set could do that could upend the whole system and give us a breath of fresh air. So while they may introduce something cool, I don't think it's going to be a successful set simply because they cannot fix the problem they have made. And that was my rant.
More gear support in here.
Yeah, it's like, okay, no, that's fine. Whatever. Keep doing what you're doing. It's been working thus far, right? Yeah.
So, with Grand Blue kind of showing its dominance in the game right now overall, along with Gears and them, I'm inclined to agree. I think this set will be fun. I'm excited to see what they do with New Battalion. They have another set to flesh out Dominate. So I'm really excited to see what they can do, because the second set of Shadows is where Shadows, like, of this new Shadows, the Luard Shadows, is where they, like, get better. So I'm really excited to see what the second set of Nubas can really do for Nubas. Aside from that, though, really this is more of let's pander to the clans that really haven't gotten support. Like, Narukami's finally getting the stuff they need. Maybe. But is it going to be super wow? I mean, I hope so. But it could happen, and I hope so, but we'll see. OTT, they're going to try to drag that out of the dirt. Can they? I don't think they can, but they're going to try. Neonectar does really well in the OCG. I think it's going to do fine. I think this is going to help them there as well. But as far as here in the US and the TCG, I don't think it's going to do much for them in terms of play. So really, and then Gears are going to get what Gears get. Chronofang's going to get whatever Chronofang does. Will it bring it out of the dirt? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But really what I want to see is I want to see a shakeup. But like Nate said, shakeup of any like substantive kind. I really hope I'm wrong. I really hope that this set really launches Nuba into the stratosphere, rips Jet G down from its high ivory tower and replaces Chronofang. I want freaking Boss V Max V Titan to like succumb like Grand Blue and become the top tier deck. But I mean, at the same time, you know, that's going to happen, and I think the meta will be relatively the same post GB.
So my impression of this set is, as you said, Jose, focus in on what's been doing us really well. What's been doing what drives sales of this box? We've got Narukami, which has a bunch of diehard fans and could use more support. Received a little bit from Fighters Collection, but when was the last time they got stuff? Set 9? Yeah, so trying to get 2 sets of Narukami in here, especially with a semi-main character playing it. We've got Luard, which has been doing wonders for Shadow Paladins. 3 out of 4 sets of main sets of this season have featured Shadow Paladins. And I know you're trying to build an entire archetype, but you did it. You did it a set ago. It happened. It was amazing. Luard is still busted as all hell into set 11 simply because the cards you made were so good. And then you gave them the Dragon Emperor. We can't even begin to imagine what that card does. And you bet your ass Chrono Dragon Gear next is going to be the defining card of the season simply because it's so busted and they didn't need it. It's something that's going to fly out the window and say, nope, this is still my kingdom. And they're just all going to go to war with each other while the other clans sit back in the stands getting poop thrown at them because they suck. And they couldn't be in this set either. So what am I excited about for this season-ending set? Hopefully, some interesting card design. I think that's the best thing we can get out of this. Something that says Bushiroad is willing to take risks. The next question is, in the next season, are they going to take those risks with the right clans? With the 15 other clans that are all just scrounging for some semblance of support? Is that what we're going to see in our clan? Is that what's going to propel me upwards? For some reason, Bushiroad is perfectly happy, and maybe it's because of the popularity or the fact that they're main characters, and maybe it has nothing to do with the game in general. But it seems that in the past, anytime Bushiroad takes a risk with an currently established clan, and the clan busts wide open and breaks into the meta, they don't like it, but it's totally fine if it's something they're used to seeing.
Right.
Take Mega Colony, for example. Destroyer. This thing is amazing. This card is busted. Nothing else. Ever. For any reason. We took a risk. We didn't like it. Throw it away. Start over. Make Dark Face.
I have a comment.
So
Go ahead, Jose. I'll wait. It's fine. Whatever.
It's not fine. Don't say it's a trap.
Step on my toes. It's fine. Whatever.
mine goes on past set 12. So let's finish set 12 stuff.
Thank you. I was just gonna say one thing. I have two things: my want to see and a general question. I want to see the next season have brand new anime characters. I want them all to be gone. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to discourage voice actors from having work, but good God, these anime characters are so uninteresting. They're unrelatable. You really need to start from scratch. Do that, Bushy, and maybe I'll start watching the anime again. On a second note, I want to see if they introduce a new mechanic, because since G, we have seen a very slow mechanical progression, really. I think, you could argue maybe that's a reaction to how quickly they rush through Legion, but if you really look, we're 12 sets into G, and we've had 2 mechanics through 12 sets. 2, in terms of, fully flushed out, every clan has access to this mechanic. We've had Stride and G Guardians. We have had game-changing mechanics, not like individual keywords. But I'm kind of interested, is Bushy going to continue flushing out G Guardians and just maybe give something more powerful to the clans like OTT who have nothing? Or are they likely to keep sporing Gear Chronicle and Royal Paladins with the most busted ones like usual? Or are we going to actually see a new mechanic? Because I would like to see a new mechanic, but I have no idea what it could be, because I think we're hitting a pinnacle of power. But yeah, that was rather fast. Go ahead, Jose. Rebut me or move along.
No, that was actually the exact comment I was going to make, is that set 12 also to a certain extent seems incredibly, I don't want to say boring, but it seems so, because it's it's just the 12th set of Strides and G Guards.
Yep.
12th set of G Guards, but it's again, the forward progression of mechanics has not been so monumental as in the past. I remember season 3, or even season when I did start watching G, Stride was so whoa, that's so cool. And when I saw Limit Break, Break Ride was Break Ride, that's so cool. And then when I saw Legion, interesting. But now it's become more so minuscule. I'm oh, that's cool. Oh, that's brave. That's terrible. Moving on. That's cool. Dominate. I was dominate. This is interesting. But it's only in one clan. I think the players have deep down they want to see. I think it is that time to, now that we've been 12 sets into G, it is time for now. What's after Stride? What's next?
Yep.
I think to a certain extent we're ready for the next tipping point, and that way we can lower the power creep and start fresh again to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very telling that you can look back and say GBTO2. Okay, let's go back 10 sets. Lambros was in that set. Is Lambros still used in Aqua decks? Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good card. Go to set 4. You have Next Stage. Set 3 had Orgeyser. You have these boss cards. I'm not talking support cards. I'm not talking about your Gatling Claw where, oh, it's an old card. Yeah, but it's just playing utility. No, these are boss cards. These are the pinnacle of what you're doing that turn, really, in terms of Vanguard power. And they are nearly 10 sets old, and we're still using them.
And buying them.
And buying them. Yeah, there's been a power creep. They aren't as good. Lambros is not as terrifying as he was, but we're still using him. We're still using Orgeyser. We weren't hanging on to the BT 02 and 3 and 4 bosses well into the BT 12 meta. No. And I think that really just speaks to how slow this game has progressed.
Not to mention, to continue to what Nate just said for a second, is I still run BT01, GBT01 Saint Blows. Usable. It's still good. Which is both a good thing and a bad thing, because from a secondary market, those cards are now more pricey. Let's look at Divine Knight Atma, for example, cards $50. It's very hard. And then the only, and I just thought about this, the only monumental shift we've seen was the G expanse from 8 to 16. Was the only time I was like, whoa, this is mind melding. Like, this is revolutionary. There's now more of them.
But I think
do that again.
I think that's the main issue of why it's been so slow. We got G guards, a defensive mechanic that was supposed to stop making the game so it was supposed to curb power creep. And when you're focusing on curbing power creep, the game starts to get boring faster. The wave continues, but you're just kind of building a wall up to it, or at least stopping how badly it hits the coast. That's what G-Guards were meant to do. It was a new mechanic that all it was supposed to do was stop an older mechanic. Stop older mechanics, play catch-up for some clans, and slowing the game down, while good from a meta perspective, I mean, we praised G-Guards. We said a defensive mechanic is exactly what we needed to do, but only because Stride was such a ridiculous offensive mechanic. Its toolbox is all hell. In some cases, it's absolutely busted. It's so powerful. You can do so many interesting things with it. But at the same time, what's going to be next? How can we possibly beat that when Bushiroad couldn't do it the first time? G-Guardians are an integral part of the game now. Even more so now that we have heals that specifically work with G-Guards. That mechanic has been fully flushed out, and Stride is still the focus of the game. Everything depends on your G-Zone. Everything depends on your ability to Stride. There are very few decks that can get away with just Legioning and say, this will be fine, I guess. But most of those decks have been entirely forced out, and the only reason you play those Legions is because their utility is all hell, or they're just the best thing you have, cough, cough, Kagero, cough, cough.
Mm-hmm.
So, thankfully, the naming scheme of this next set with Chrono Dragon Gear Next tells me that something else is coming, and it better not be him. It better be the end. That or he'll just go into the next season totally fine. Chrono will go off to Harvard since he can never, ever fail at anything ever.
Yeah, I just want
agree.
the
I mean, I'm ready to see...
Go ahead. I already stole your line once.
I'm literally gonna say the thing to say. It's time for a new series to a certain extent. New characters, maybe using some old clans, maybe using some of the old units. Or if you're gonna keep using the same characters, it's time for some darn character development. Or it's time for I just want to see a new mechanic. I want to see something, even if it's like further evolved. Like some people are saying, like Stride. Like crap, I'll take it. Let's go. Let's see what happens. I don't know how it'll work, but let's dance with it. Let's see what happens. I think it's time for something new.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm just so sick at this point. Even if you don't give me a new mechanic, even if you don't give me new characters, aka I'm not watching the anime, just stop supporting the same clans. Like really, I am sick of seeing Gears, Royals, and Shadows be in every single set. It is so and Golds for that matter. Golds are incredibly oversupported. I'm so sick of seeing those 4 clans show up every single time you announce a set. Like, really, you have 26 clans. You couldn't come up with 5 or 6 that are original. You had to repeat 2 and 3 and 4 every single set? Just back off, dude. I'm so sick of it.
But even when they do that thing, Nate, they don't take it seriously. Because We Are Trinity Dragon has to lose. And that's what we miss. That's a major issue, is Chrono is no longer... The main characters are no longer allowed to lose. And even when they are, it's not really their fault. They're never put in positions where it's like, this card is so ridiculously powerful, it makes sense that I lose in the anime. It's just a plot point for some vague form of character development. Cough, that royal guy who I don't care about because Altmile's not a deck. In my eyes, anyway. It's still probably a deck.
Oh, you mean like the Seto Kaiba ripoff that was never as good, 100%. As interesting as Seto Kaiba?
You lost, like, what? A couple times because plot needed it to happen. I wrote an episode and it requires him to lose. It's not, this card is so believably powerful. He just fell over and died, as it is anytime Chrono fights anyone. How are you supposed to beat that? No one in real life can beat that.
It's also important to note that there is a reason, and I think Bushiroad knows that their newer characters are not as beloved, because there's a reason that the new characters tend to, at the beginning at least, lose to the old characters. There's a reason that, you know, for example, this is to take it off, but in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yugi beat Jaden because people loved Yugi more. This is the fact. There's a reason why Aichi beat Chrono the first time and like shoved it in its teeth. And like people are like, well, Chrono could have won. No, but yeah, but there's a reason why he lost. That's because people care about Aichi more. And now that's a whole other can of worms. But I'm just saying that like at least Aichi lost. Like the reason people loved Aichi is they could relate to him.
He
lost games.
He was nervous. He didn't know how to play this game. He went off to some tournament and got his teeth kicked in, relied on his teammates had to carry him, and he won like 2 games. He just didn't play the rest of them and said, I'm not good enough. And then he built up the courage and he fought and he won, and then he ended up saving the world a few times along the way. You know, whatever Yu-Gi-Oh! Bullshit, all of that stuff. Chrono's not that guy. Chrono walked up to Kamui, slapped him in the face, and said, this is my deck.
Like, the thing is, like, everyone, though, Kai was so good, but he could lose. And he always lost when it mattered, too. So his losses were actually more important than Aichi's. Because Aichi would lose, like, any other day than any other day. Kai would be like, oh, but Kai doesn't lose. Oh, my God, Kai lost.
Those were interesting characters played out in a card game anime that... Because there's only ever going to be one result. When did they lose? How did they lose? Do they go down fighting? Is it a close game? How do we relate to them? We don't do that anymore. It was for a while there was a slice of life show about that just happened to involve cards. And then Chrono would just like you just see him throw out a couple critical triggers and say ha bend over. That's basically what it was. It wasn't fun. That's not fun to watch. I didn't enjoy those episodes. I'm like, why is this interesting? The only reason I watched it is for some inkling of what new cards did. And then I would just check Drevlin later anyway for the actual text as translated. It got boring. And that's, I think, what has happened to maybe not the game itself. I still love this game. I love playing this game. This is a fun game with a bunch of fun people, and I love the community. But Bushiroad's playing it really safe in the worst way possible. They're playing it safe by giving just more powerful and creative cards to clans that don't need it. And that's all the anime has to be about is showing a couple critical triggers and us getting a card of the day every day. That's all it has to be. And that's not good enough for us. We want more, and we're hoping for more next time. Still, this set's probably going to be incredible for one reason or another, and we're just going to have to live with it. That, or it'll just be reward support, and you'll get to see what the new cards do, and I guess we'll take out 2 Doomed and add in 2 Awakening Emperor Luard and kill people. That's just good. That's what it's going to be now.
I agree. I just want to see what cards do again. I still remember seeing Urageyser in the show and no one had any true idea what he did. We just saw him sack 2 dudes and get 2 PGs. What does this card do? Does this card search 2 PGs? What is life? And then you find out, like, no, it's just check top 2, get plus 10k. Those just 2 cards happen to be PGs. Oh, value. Like, but...
I mean, honestly, that speaks to how much effort they put into the anime now. Like... You can go, and just about every other episode, you'll see where someone showed, oh, isn't that weird? Chrono has a next stage in his damage zone. That's not odd at all. Or, like, he had 0 cards last turn, and now somehow he started this turn with 7. That's normal, right? You can tell Bushiroad has stopped actually thinking out, how would this game go? How would this game play? And they're just putting in whatever they feel like. They're doing sloppy animations, and I honestly don't blame people for not watching it. Because I don't blame myself.
So to continue with that and kind of to finish it all out is like, I think we all agreed that even though the G set, the finale sets are have some memorable cards, they tend to be weaker. I still think that the weakest one was still maybe 17 in my opinion, just because it had no long-lasting effects to the game after Legion, and it just wasn't that memorable overall. So set 17, in my opinion, gets the worst. However, set 17 was the ending set to set season 4, which is Legion, and that last episode was amazing. So it had like crummy cards, but the season finale was still super value, and I remember watching it like 5 times. Like, those games at the end of season 4 were literally all critical losers. It was all like Kai checks 6 crits the show, and it was like fine with me because it looked interesting. The animation was gorgeous, revealing. But now if like Chrono did something similar, I'd just be like, all right, it's a Tuesday, moving on. Like,
so I'm going to call you out and say no. The clan booster was the worst season finale set ever.
Yep,
I don't care what you say. It was one clan. It had so few usable cards. Like, what in there has made
one clan?
Groovy. And which is part of the problem. They were trying to like do oh, by the way, Chrono's now using Zodiac Time Beast, but not really. He's still using Next Stage, and here's Gear Groovy, so why would you use this garbage? Yeah. Yeah, it was the worst. I'm sorry, Jose. You're wrong.
I still give the dunce hat to set 9. Set 9 did its best and failed. that was it. It studied for the test, and test date came, and it got a 45. That's what happened. I still give the dunce hat to set 9 for epically failing at everything they had tried to do for 4 sets. Can we be better than Dotei? Can we bring people away from the absolutely busted garbage we printed last season? No. It failed. It had one job, and it couldn't do it.
Here's the real reason, fans, that Ryan holds so much animosity for set 9. And that's because he thought Chrome Jailer was going to be a cross ride for Spectral Duke. And when it wasn't, he was super salty.
Why was Chrome Jailer such a hot-ass card? No, but really, I mean, I was a fan as everybody else, but the fact that Bushiroad, like, totally had to revamp the release schedule so we wouldn't get Dotei ahead of time, and then set 9 didn't do anything about it at all. Imagine if you got these sets back to back, because we did. We got set 8, set 5, set 9. And I don't even know how Japan even played this game anymore, because half the clans had no cards, and then it was just Dotei. It was Gears and Mega Colony. Except you couldn't even play Mega Colony because it didn't have enough cards. That's how bad it was. And we even got the fixed version where Vermilion and Hazel got to actually see some playtime before Dotei came along and smashed everybody to pieces and said, all right, well, where's Descendant? I guess I'll just wait for him to show up. Because that was the next set we got after that. It wasn't good. I want to be very clear that they even tried to fix the schedule just so they wouldn't fail as hard in America. That's how bad it was. That's why I give set 9 the dunce hat.
I don't know, Ryan. I wouldn't even give the clan booster you tried. They didn't. Give me yours tried or rebellion. They didn't try. No, it was the Gear Groovy. You never stop playing Next Stage. We need to fill out 44 other cards. Here you go.
I will say that, contrary to Jose's earlier point, they thought about exactly how that game needed to go, and they printed the cards in the set just so they could have it. They did like totally reverse engineered. How's this game gonna have to go? Print a header around. Great.
Yeah.
All right. So it's time to gear up those. We've been talking about the anime and the sets for an hour now. Let's go ahead and wind up those #ass absolutions.
I mean, in all fairness, this is the most we've talked about the anime since the G series started.
But the thing is, which is really funny because we haven't watched it that much. So it's like how much people, it's like if we replace handle of people who actually sat down and watched the show, like they'd be probably just as angry, if not angrier than us.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I got people in the chat telling me like, oh, this guy cheated. Oh, this guy 6 damage healed again because he needed to win. Tayo soul blasted his heart. Like, I would be absolutely angry had I any expert opinion on what was actually going on. I'm just making assumptions because I know it hasn't changed.
I don't know. I was super disappointed. It reeled me in. I thought Shion died. A pillar fell.
I would have watched the show after that.
They killed him off. And they brought him back to life. I was like, screw you. Screw you. That was the highlight. You killed him, finally.
I'm like, character development. Actual consequences. Card games are real. Let's do some stuff. Chrono takes revenge. He wins every game after that for a different reason than I'm Chrono.
Okay, so I ask Absolution, what clans do you want to see become main character clans? One, and that's going to be the 3 character clans. So I'll go for as a main character clan.
Do we each only get to pick one? And the panel of 3 makes up the 3 main characters?
Yeah, we each pick one, and the panel is the 3 main characters.
All right.
Okay, I got mine. I want Dark Irregulars. I want to give them a shot. Show me what you can do, DI. I believe.
All right. I'm going to go with Oracle Think Tank because that is the only possible solution to pull that clan out of the gutter. That and Misaki Legend deck, it needs to happen. It is the next Legend deck. Unfortunately, you have to wait 8 months for it, but that's what you need. That's all it's going to take is a Legend deck with some good-ass cards in it and then immediately a set of support. And Oracle Think Tank's back on. You just need like 70 more cards and you'll be fine. That's it.
You just need to like double your card base and you're good.
Pretty much. Give it to OTT only because watching an OTT game in the anime is actually really interesting. There are so many things that clan could have done and they just didn't let it. How can they explore what this clan can do? And also having someone just draw a million cards and watch the other people get frustrated, that's character development. That's, I can't beat this guy. Why? Because he draws a million cards and drawing cards is good in this game. I might have to consult alternate strategy. I might try to deck him out. Let me see if I can survive long enough to make him die. Like that is something you can play around. And Critapalooza deck isn't something that's good for character development. It's basically just a fist fight. And we have much better animes for that.
So the next one I want to do real quick is hashtag Ask Absolution.
You didn't say what your clan
Speaking of
was.
things ending.
Yeah.
What was your clan?
Tachi's? Ugh. Okay.
Kaze. It's time for Cardfight Vanguard Jurassic World. It's that time. It's that time now.
You got the weirdest team going here.
Or I'll take Tachi's, or I want the American exchange student coming into Japan playing Spike Bros. I'll take either or.
Hey, they had a Japanese Spike Bro player. The great whatever his face was. Yeah.
The great whatever. So, hashtag Ask Absolution. Speaking of things ending, at what point would it take you to stop playing the game? What would Bushi have to do for you to quit playing Vanguard? At this point, we're in for $1, in for a dime, so we're not backing out until Bushi cancels the game. That's just my personal opinion.
The Great Crusher Kyo.
So
that was his name.
Even if Bushi said, we're not doing this anymore, we would still be like those Goat Control Yu-Gi-Oh players who are like, we're going to hold a tournament for this. Now, granted, almost every dead game that doesn't receive new support absolutely dies out. But would Vanguard? I mean, granted, I sold out of Kaijudo. I sold out of Yu-Gi-Oh. Of course, that game's not dead, but you know, it was dead to me. Vanguard, I probably just wouldn't sell out of. I would keep my most updated meta deck and maybe another fun deck around because I just would. Like Jose said, we're probably in this game forever, and at some point we might have said, "Well, no, we're not doing this anymore." But probably we will continue playing this game just because we love it. We love each other, and we love you guys. So
I want you all to know, the internet, in 30 years, when you're all doing this via AR, we're still gonna be here like in our 50s talking about a 25 dead year game. So enjoy that. No more spoiler reel. I guess that'll be the
Hey, I'm sure people would be okay with that.
25.
Here's next one. Also, thank you to my fans, Team Trident.
Let's talk about it.
Hashtag Ask Absolution. What do you think would be the new mechanic of the game? So this is something we get.
Ryan, you can pick one now.
Oh, I am. Hashtag Ask Absolution. What do you think would be the new mechanic for the game? Also, the Doombringer Griffin is the best. Thank you. Shameless self-promotion. New mechanic of the game. So the new mechanic for everyone. Now, if you would ask me this, like around G-Set 5, where we're talking, we have Blade Master, original Susanoo, Alt Mile, where all of the grade 3s did something when you weren't on stride, but you really needed to be on stride, and Bushro did not let off the gas at all. If you're not striding, you're not winning. You can't possibly swing at me for any kind of significant power line if you're not stride or the legend. That's it. I would really like to see a stride that brought out what was under it. So we joke about Grand Legion a lot because it was the supposed next thing for stride. It was strides plus the grade 3s. It was joining with the heart. It was, of course, it was fake the whole time. but it really was something that I thought resonated well with the original concept of G. Susanoo gets like 5k and a crit when he swings. What if I had a stride that went up with him, got to GB2, had some sort of utility toolbox-based effect, but Susanoo was the powerhouse? That's what I wanted. To use these grade 3s that were otherwise useless and just had some sort of on-stride counterblast 1 do what the clan does for CB1, like draw a card or retire a dude. That's what I wanted. Of course, they went the complete opposite direction and said, no, we're just going to give the hearts better skills that happen on stride, or let you do it for free. So that would have been my pick. I don't even know what I would do now. And honestly, I think it's time for the game to have some sort of disruption. And that's saying something because I left Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Vanguard didn't have disruption, and that's what I liked. Now, we need to stop our opponents from doing stupid stuff. Because it's gotten stupid. I see a Melo. That thing needs to go away.
Put my Malum. I'm done with you. I think that question says hashtag Absolution. If we got a female main character as protagonist of the next season, what route would you want to take with the character? Look, I don't care if the character is male or female or anything. I don't care. But I think the route that needs to be taken in the series, it needs to be this kid who finds Vanguard and he has this, very real, losing, can lose, can win, grows with it, introduces other characters, plays in tournaments, and then you add some stuff at the end. Escalate it, sure, but it's got to start. You got to resonate with the characters. They got to win. They got to lose.
All we're asking for our anime characters is some kind of humanity. And granted, too much humanity can be a bad thing. See the difference between Aang and Korra in Avatar. You hate Korra. You know you do. She is not a great character. Aang was amazing. Why do you hate Korra? Because she never felt powerful. She never felt like the badass that Aang could be. And Aang was kind of our Aichi. He wasn't perfect. He knew he was destined for something. He didn't want to be the Avatar, but he did it anyway. And he sucked it up and did it for the fate of the world, even though he was against everything it was about the whole time. Chrono? Now, I won't compare him to Korra, but he's not a person. He's just a power fantasy in a card game. Do you know how bad that is? We can go watch DBZ if we want to live out our power warrior fantasies. Chrono showing 2-starred cards to people doesn't get my rocks off. I'm sorry. Also, that's going to be flagged. That's beside the point. It doesn't do it for me, is the point.
Yeah.
Chrono's not a person.
I'm going to be honest.
He's barely a hunk of flesh. With daddy issues.
Lord bless. I'm kind of like Jose. I really don't care if it's male or female. I don't think that matters. I don't think people get turned off to that. What I do get turned off by is if it is a female, stop automatically going to, oh, they must play Bermudas or Neos or Genesis or OTT. Give me a female character that plays DI. Give me a female character that is actually representative of what females are like who have interests beyond the stereotypes. Like, really. And aside from that, I'm actually disappointed because I thought Tokuha was actually the best of the 3 characters we got.
Oh, I agree.
She had the most relatable and interesting story. Chrono was totally apathetic. He never lost. You could not relate to the dude. I don't care how hard you tried. Shion was a straight ripoff of Seto Kaiba, so why would you care to like him? Because he sucked compared to Seto. Tokuha actually did have something interesting going for her. She was living in her brother's shadow. She was trying to balance Vanguard with trying to go to school. That's relatable. How do I balance my hobby with academics? That's something we could relate to. But then suddenly they took it into this weird oh, I'm sort of going to do the Rin thing and become obsessed with getting strong. And then they just took her off the rails completely. And we never heard more from that story again. So it's actually super
love interest that died.
Because Tokuha was gearing up to be somewhat interesting had they kept going with her. But
put it away.
Yep. It became the Chrono show.
So also, I Tokuha also had a love interest that died. She was a very relatable character. She probably is the most relatable character in the series, in my opinion. That development is important in any kind of show, and I think that we all want that, and I think that's important, regardless of who's there. When you said playing DI because it relates to women, I was like, "Well, you about to say that like women are like soul-sucking vampires?" I don't understand.
No, I'm just sick of the stereotype that every time there's a girl in the anime, it's like instantly, okay, we've narrowed it down. They can play OTT, Genesis, Neo Nectar, Pale Moon, and Bermudas. And for some reason, and maybe Aquas, there were the 2 girls who played Aquas, but they were weird, so we don't talk about them. I'm just sick of it just being like, it's impossible to think that females would have any interest in knights or dragons. I think that's totally outlandish and stereotypical and somewhat offensive. So, yeah. Just a thought.
All right, and with that note, I think it's time to call Damage Check to an end. I want to thank every one of you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit a like down below. Send us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. Always, you can find some of the members on Discord, some of the members on Facebook, and some of the members you can't find at all, like Braxton. And with that note, we'll talk to you guys next time. This is Team Absolution signing off.
Oh, Peace. Yep, I've got to stop it.